Hey, Mr. Blaru, how are you, sir?
Morning, sir.
Good, are you well?
I'm not bad. Yourself?
Good, I am fantastic, thank you. Always fascinated by life. Let me just shut the blinds in front of me. One
Right.
sec. He's in the room. All right, presentations. Have you done a presentation before, Amos?
Um, sort of, yes.
Hmm. Okay, when you say sort of, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've done some yeah few presentations. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And what is the key thing for both of you? You guys can go one at a time, that you want to develop, where you feel like you need to develop in your presentation skills in terms of converting more clients specifically.
Yeah, I just need to be able to establish the the gap, from where people are and why they should see the need,
Yeah.
to want to get to the next stage.
Okay, good. So let me pull up my presentation mastery document then. And Maze, what about yourself?
Maybe just, I don't know, really conveying the value of what they're getting for the investment. That's like my struggle, really.
Yeah.
Because they're all like, yeah, yeah, I want to work with you. Yes, sounds amazing. And then when
Mhm.
they hear the price, it's just the same story. I can't afford it.
Okay, great. So what we have to do first is we have to position, I'm going to come back to your bit in a second, Amos. And what
Right.
we have to do first, Maze, is we have to position price first very early on. So one of the things that you often see me do in presentations is talk about the results that clients get before when they start working with me, right? So the way that you can position your value, let me go a bit down. Yeah, the way that you can position your value is talk to me about like what's one of the biggest things that your client has achieved on the back end of working with you.
Well, clients come to see me when they're literally on the floor, burnt out, um, at their wits' end, not knowing
Mhm.
where to turn. They've tried everything and they're not getting the results.
Yeah. But
And
when you say burnt out, specify what that looks like for me so we've got a clearer picture.
yeah, so exhausted, without the energy to function properly with the family, with the kids, with work,
Hmm.
brain
Yeah.
fog. Um,
Yeah.
Alongside that, there's often gut disturbances, um,
Yeah.
just extreme fatigue, and just, everything that they used to do just doesn't work anymore. And then I help them get back on track and get their lives back so that they can thrive instead of survive, so that they can spend time with loved ones, so that they can excel in their work.
Sure.
Um, and it's
And
really life changing. Um,
yeah. And what process do you go through in order to help them with that, just so I understand?
it's a 3 month, the 90-day reset program. It's a three
Yeah.
month one-to-one coaching program where I give them the information that's bespoke and individualized for them to heal
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
nutrition, with lifestyle, with supplements. And we test, we don't guess. We use functional medicine testing to figure out the root cause. And
Yeah.
that's 50% of the work. The other
Yeah.
50% is the ongoing support and accountability of the regular coaching, where we are in touch every week. I'm
Yeah.
supporting
Sure.
them and
So,
guiding
so, so
them.
that's so that's the mechanics. Talk to me a little bit about that lifestyle piece, 'cause I think this is really important.
The
What
life
shape? Yeah, what do you coach them through when it comes to lifestyle? Like, can you give me a practical example of how you helped somebody before?
So the lifestyle is really the nervous system.
Mhm.
Clients that heal, it's actually quite easy to change the diet and take some supplements. But
Sure.
changing how you live, changing how you look after yourself, changing how you breathe, slowing down, looking after your nervous system is what
Give me
people.
a practical example of what that can look like in terms of
So
looking after
it's
the nervous
like
system.
a lot of people work from home and get up and sit on the computer. That's a
Sure.
disaster for your waking cortisol. So it's getting up, it's getting outside, it's getting sunlight in your eyes, not switching your phone on, starting with some meditation, intention setting, breath work,
Yeah.
and similarly,
Okay. Perfect.
how you.
Now,
Mm.
Now we've got a clearer picture. Good. So when you start, then you want to talk about when you start, you want to talk about how you eliminate burnout. So you might say something, and again, this is not perfect. This is just me rambling off the top of my head, okay? But you're going to start by talking about the challenge that you're going to help them to overcome. So you might say something like this. Excuse me. In this presentation, over the next 60 to 90 minutes, you're going to discover the keys to breaking through burnout and fatigue forever. Now, let me ask you something. What is burnout and fatigue and excess exhaustion costing you right now? Ask the question. Oh, it's costing me time with the family. Maybe it's costing you time with family. Possibly it's costing you that promotion that you were looking for at your job. That's could possibly even worth an extra 10 to 15,000 pounds. Maybe it's costing you time with your spouse and your loved ones, and possibly for some of you, it could be even costing you your marriage and your entire relationship. Now, let me ask you a deeper question. What is your marriage, your relationship worth to you? Now, most people will say that it's priceless, but the question is, do they actually take the necessary repeated actions that demonstrate that it's priceless? Or do they just use their body and misuse their body in a way which is not congruent with how they actually want to live? You see, most people say that they would love to have a healthy, fit, vibrant lifestyle where they're seeing their children every day, they're loving their life every day, they're waking up with energy, vibration, full of fulfillment. But the question becomes, how many of you actually wake up with that feeling every single day? And my guess is not many. How many of you would love to have that feeling of vibration every single day? Good. And how many of you are actually willing to commit to that experience of waking up to that vibration every single day? Lovely. So you're in the right place. Now, let me show you quickly. Now, before I get started and show you exactly how this works, let me show you one of my clients, Louise, who used this 90-day reset method in order to go from completely burnt out, completely fatigued, was about to get fired from her 9 to 5, absolutely hated her job, and was about to lose a £60,000 a year contract. Now, since working with me, not only does she have more time with her loved ones, she's actually in a thriving and fulfilling relationship now. And not to mention, she's just got the promotion in her job from taking her from 40,000 a year to 60,000 a year because she was no longer burnt out. So let me ask you, what is that burnt? So that burnt out was costing Louise £20,000 every single year. Let me ask you, what's your burnout costing you? And then I'm going to go on to the next one and the next one and the next one. So now I'm just validating that this burnout is not just something that it's not a fad. It is costing you your life. It is costing you your energy. It is costing you your time with your children. You can also, so I went down a little bit of financial route there. You can also go down the route of talking about what it's costing them with their family. How many times does your 5-year-old get to be 5? How many summers do you get to spend with your children? Well, most people will say 18 years, but that's not the truth. Because think about it this way. How many years do you get to spend with a baby? 1 to 2 years. How many summers do you get to spend with a toddler? 3 to 5 years. How many summers do you get to spend with a child? 8 to 12 years. 4 years. How many summers do you get to spend with a teenager? 5 years. The question is not whether this is important to you, but whether your child and your children and spending time with them appropriately is important to you. Raise your hand if you believe that actually spending summers and enjoying summers with your loved ones is more important than money. You see what I'm doing here?
So good.
Or you could say, raise your hand if you believe that sharing time with your children is more that sharing five amazing summers with your children is worth more than £5,000. They all go, yeah, of course it's worth more than £5,000. And you can play a little game with it. You can expand on that, right? And you can say something like, okay, so if I was to give you £5,000 right now, and say to you, you cannot enjoy any summertime, any enjoyment time with your children or your spouse for the next 5 years, would you take it? No, of course you wouldn't. Why? Because your family, your loved ones, your lifestyle is more important to you than the £5,000, yes or no? Yeah, 100%. See, now they've just agreed mentally and emotionally that this burnout is worth more to them than £5,000. And then when you drop your offer later at £2,000, they're like, oh, of course. You with me?
Mm.
Yeah. So you'll always see, and I would use that anchor as well. That £5,000 is a good anchor for you. So yeah, just continue and persist on using that.
Mm.
Because then all the way through the presentation, subconsciously in their mind, they're thinking, oh my goodness, she's going to charge me £5,000.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can demonstrate later, hey, it's worth £5,000. You already told me that. And then you just play with it, right? Is it, if I gave you, what if I gave you £10,000? What if I gave you £20,000 and said that you couldn't spend any time with your loved ones for the next 5 years? Would you take it? No, you would say no. So what you're saying to me is that this is worth more than £20,000 to you. And then when you get later down the line, closer to like the closing bit, then you're more like, okay, so this is worth more than £20,000 to you, but are you willing to invest £2,000 into the solution?
Mm.
Yeah. Helpful?
It's so good. I don't know how I'll ever be able to do it like that.
Well, it's just a framework. All you're doing is in the framework is you're just positioning the value up here. Because what you're doing, you've already explained it to all of us. It's life-changing. This is not just some happy clapping clap, get motivated for 5 minutes BS. And use that kind of stuff, right? Use the this is not some Tony Robbins jump up and down, clap your hands for 5 minutes kind of BS, right? That lasts for 5 minutes. You go, oh, I feel great. And then 2 weeks later, you're back in a slump again. So what you're doing is you are elevating your own positioning, and you're kind of like, the people that, go to those motivational seminars and all of that sort of stuff. You're just casting that aside, and you're separating yourself completely from that identity. And when you do that, they're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, I ain't going to that Tony Robbins thing. I'm going to Mace, because she can actually give me personalized guidance and support. Yeah, that's what it's about. And all of you can do that, by the way, right? Whether you're selling fitness, health, nutrition, relationships, leadership, whatever it might be, is position the value up here and then position the price down here. Going back to what you mentioned earlier, Amos, when you open the presentation, where you want to open with is, let me share my screen so you can see it.